Do you hate bleeding brakes, slow leaks, stubborn air bubbles, and that mess from leaky hoses? And worst of all, trying to find a helper who actually helps. Even a simple caliper swap can turn into a huge pain. But there's one thing, I don't hate bleeding brakes anymore. This setup on my Honda was smooth, clean, and totally solo. But not every car is this easy. On this S10, I had to deal with an old school GM rectangular reservoir. The adapter plate bowed up under pressure, and I had to get creative. With 3 Irwin quick grips and a flat washer from a U-bolt, I finally got the seal I needed and the job done.
All right, today I'm gonna do some brake bleeding on my truck. So I've already got the wheels off. I've already broke the bleeders free. So that's something important you wanna do before you really get started, is break the bleeders free. This is a 97 S10. I've had it since I was a kid. Anyway, I've done all kinds of stuff to it. Brakes are all powder coated and stuff like a decade ago. So anyway, this is your bleeder right here, this little thing next to my finger. The light's awfully bright. You can see it there. So you're gonna crack those loose. You may end up having to get some penetrating oil on them. Maybe take a wire brush and scrub them too, and then hit them with a little penetrant. These weren't rusted up, so they came right off. But I'm gonna show you how to use a pressure bleeder. I've had this one for years. I just got this adapter to adapt to the old style GM rectangular manifolds, or not manifold, brake booster, the reservoir. So anyway, it came with this set here that I got on Amazon. Looks pretty sweet. I've already tested this one fit on my Honda over there. So anyway, we're gonna give it a shot. So it's got all kinds of different stuff. I guess this one's for a Toyota. I was looking through some of the different things, so I'm sure I'll end up using all these. I work on all kinds of stuff. So anyway, let me get this thing set up.
There's a sheet of all the different adapters that this brake bleeder adapter kit comes with.
So first things first, when you get one of these, that's set. So this is a Motive Products power bleeder. I bought it with a specific cap for my Volkswagens, and I love the way the pressure bleeding works. It's, once you do it, you will not want to go back. So these guys do make a ton of different adapters, but they're really pricey. So this one was about, it was like $20 more than buying just these guys' aluminum version of this. I got that entire set that I had on the floor there. So but first things first, when you get this kit, you're going to want to have to adapt it. The Motive Products one just used pipe connections. So I just kind of adapted it with some stuff I had. So it came with a little piece of Tygon here, and it came with this Japanese quick disconnect fitting. So which I don't know why Motive doesn't have the quick disconnects. I had just been using this. I mean, this is so much better as long as it holds pressure, right? So anyway, first things first, we're gonna get this cap off, and we're gonna get this replaced since I've already broke everything free. One thing to note on these is it's a big rubber gasket. So we can knock this thing back out of here. Aha! It's a big rubber gasket. Now these guys don't sell replacements as far as I can tell for these. So if you're using this like in a shop, look at that. I'm probably gonna call them up and let them know that that's cracked already and I want it replaced. It's already cracked. Anyway, when you're putting these down over the top of stuff, especially the universal style, I've got Motive Products universal one over there. It leaves little impressions. You can kind of see like an impression right here. I haven't used this one on mine, but when I get done, I'll show you. There's going to be an impression on here. So kind of something to keep in mind, brake fluid attacks rubber. This rubber should be fairly compatible, but the longer you let this stuff just sit with brake fluid on it, the more it's going to compact it, the more the brake fluid is going to try and eat at it. So I haven't hooked this up yet. until I get to a point where I am absolutely ready, because I'm not going to want this sitting on the car for a long period of time. I'm just going to want it on there just for bleeding. So if you're unfamiliar with pressure bleeding, what it does is we pressurize this tank, and then that pressurizes the master cylinder, this whole tank here, and then that pressurizes the entire downstream system. So all I have to do is go around and open brake bleeders, which is, it's incredibly efficient. You can bleed really fast and really, really well and get a really, really firm pedal and really clear fluid through here. So the other day I did go ahead and pop this off, and then use my fluid extractor to suck out all the old brake fluid, because the brake fluid in here was like really old and nasty. So my fluid, it looks a little cleaner than yours is gonna look probably. The whole system was like dark, so I'm not just doing this just for fun. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and extract out the fluid using my fluid extractor here. This is a Four Uncles brand. So I'm gonna set this up and I'll get it all ready to go here. So what you do with this is you take off that cap there, and then this bigger cap is what goes on there. Oh man. So we can do this one-handed without making a mess. Typically there's going to be some oil down inside of that tube where you store all these, so they're going to kind of drip a little bit on you. Periodically I just take one of these hoses and use this tool to just suck everything out of there, but you're going to have a little bit every time you use it. There's going to be a little bit in there. So usually when I pull it out, I've got a rag and I'm wiping it off as it comes out, because it will drip all over the place. And I use this to change oil on my diesels. That oil is nasty. All right, and then you want to take so these are different adapters or different sizes of ends, and then you've got a little dipstick too for when you're changing oil. You can run that down and see exactly how far until it taps the bottom of the pan. This kind of comes in real useful, because you can clearly see this is coming to the very end, to the very bottom of this. So anyway, so you got a bunch of different sizes. For something like this, I can use whatever size I want, really. So I can go with the biggest one and just get it all pulled out really quick, or whatever I want to go with. So usually I do this when I take it out, and then that just kind of, see there's a bunch of oil down there, it just kind of minimizes the mess. So this piece just slides right into it, and then you got it connected. So this, you don't really want to contaminate fluids. So I've got a bunch of stuff in here right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of hold my finger over the end and then build up pressure. But there's a couple different ways you can use this thing. You can use it with just the hand pump here, or you can hook it up to shop air. I do have shop air. I'm not going to use it for something this easy, so I'll go ahead and set you up. You're not going to be able to see me pumping. All right, so I'm just going to pump a few times here, and I'm going to kind of clear this with my finger. So you can kind of see some of it going up. It's not going to get completely clear, but get some of it going up versus not. So I'm pumping right now, and I'm just going to stick this in, and I'm going to take as much out of the reservoir as I can. When you're done, I'm going to just take something and wipe it off. So I've got all the brake fluid out of there. So you want to start with clean, fresh fluid. That's the trick to getting really, really good, crystal clear fluid through here. So one thing I like to do is get some clean paper towels. Just wipe out the reservoir. This will get out any other little bit of nastiness. The older the fluid is in here, it can actually have like a brown film that builds up on all the surfaces. So that's part of the reason why I used my fluid extractor the other day and filled this full of clean fluid. It was just so that I could wipe it as clean as I could and then come back after the brake fluid ate away at anything else. Brake fluid is really caustic. It will eat away at a lot of different stuff. Obviously the plastic's compatible with it. I couldn't leave it in here, but it will eat away at different things and leave coatings everywhere. So you kind of see some of the coating in the corner there where it's kind of got little dark spots where it's like almost like dirt in the fluid. So it's nice and clean. Just wiping the inside. You don't want to bring dirt and stuff in there. Next thing you want to do is top off the reservoir. And one thing to note, when the reservoir is empty, do not touch the brakes. If you pull air into the brake system right now, you are going to have a fun time bleeding the brakes. So don't hit the brakes right now at all when you've got that sucked dry, because you pull air in. So you want to open, this is a .3 system. .3 and .4 are fully compatible. .4 has a higher boiling point. I'm just going to use .4. That's what I use. So you want to make sure you have a sealed container. Sealed. Not brake fluid will attract moisture in the air. So that's one of the reasons why you want to do a brake fluid flush. Is over the years it will attract moisture. So you don't want to use a bottle that's been stored and opened. So I'm going to break the seal with my thumb, and then we're going to pour some in. So I don't need a ton. The brake fluid, or the brake pressure bleeder, is going to do the job of keeping this full for me. But I'll go ahead and get some in there. So you can kind of see the difference already in the color of what the fluid we had in there before was. This is already cleaner. So clean fluid up here, going down through the system, you're gonna have cleaner and cleaner and cleaner fluid. So, all right, now we're gonna go ahead and get the cap put on. So you want to make sure that it fits completely over so I can feel underneath it. This one is considerably bigger, as you can tell. But you want to make sure it fits completely over it. And you want to try and kind of center it up on there. There's tons of different styles of adapters. Unfortunately, this one isn't just a screw-on style. Those styles are so much easier, and they make bleeding brakes with the pressure bleeder just that much simpler. So there's a couple different tricks I've learned with different things. We may have to use a trick on this one that I've learned where you put a block of wood underneath the master cylinder, and that kind of keeps it kind of pulling differently. We'll find out. It seems to pull it straighter and more evenly. So you're going to take these little hooks, put a little washer on them, and then this set comes with these little thumb wheels. It also comes with wing nuts as well, so I'm not going to use those though. Whoops. So you want to take this. That's better. Okay. So you want to take this and wrap it around the master cylinder. Like that. And then you end up dropping it. It's one thing I like about the caps that you just put on and you're done. You don't fiddle with this whole game. But I doubt anybody makes a cap that just goes on to this one and holds it well enough. Kind of see it's trying to it's almost bending the plastic. So we'll see if we need that block of wood under there or not. Sometimes what it does is it spreads out the chain and it more evenly clamps on it. I think we're gonna need it, but we'll find out. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need it. It's already kind of bowing so much. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. So I usually take a block of wood and go around it, especially on that Honda over there. It really needs it bad. It just the universal caps just are kind of a pain. Okay. So you go under it with the block of wood. Ah! As you can tell, this is kind of a pain in the when you're trying to hook this up. When you're hooking it up, you're like, is this really going to be worth it? Trust me, the pressure bleeder's worth it. It's worth all this effort. After you get one, you're like, I need every adapter in the world. This is the greatest thing ever. All right. So you see how that already it holds it a little more evenly across it. Instead of the chains trying to bow the plastic, it's gonna provide more straight down uniform clamping pressure. Not my kid screaming, I promise. Someone across the street. So I'm trying to hold this thing with one hand here while I hook up or grab the other piece. All right, so grab this. All right, so that's kind of the gist of how you get this puppy hooked up. Kind of see how it is around there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and snug it all the way down. Ugh. So you kind of want to evenly snug any one of these down, and I've got different tricks for different master cylinders that I've learned. This is my first time using this whole gizmo, so I don't have any tricks for this. We're just gonna kind of wing it like that. All right, so this is supposed to be a review of this tool. As you can see, I'm not quite so happy with it. These things, as we were looking at earlier, kept sliding off the side of it, so I took them off. Obviously, that made it so that there was uneven clamping pressure from here to here. So I ended up, this thing's a nightmare, honestly. I think I'm gonna end up having to buy the proper tool for the GM one at least, but it bows in the center. And so I came in here and I put this on here so that I can clamp it in the front to keep that bow in the center down. I clamped it in the back along the wood there, and then I really needed 5 clamps, honestly, to do this. So I ended up grabbing a C. I wish you could find these big enough, because then I've used these before. So I ended up just taking a little piece off of one of these. I've used these before on other master cylinders and they work great. They should have made this out of aluminum or made this plastic considerably thicker, because it bows over the top of the master cylinder. When I go to pull it off, we'll do it. But so we'll go ahead and continue bleeding, even though I don't like this setup at all. It's kind of rinky-dink. Yeah, it's not great. But anyway, we'll resume with what we were doing. So what you want to do, and I'm not going to go crazy on pressure. Normally I take it up to like 15 or more, but 15 psi across this whole span, it's like 5 by 7 or something like that. So do the math. That's a lot of pressure. So I'm only going to go up to about 5, and it looks like I'm losing maybe a tidbit. It's not terrible. I might end up tightening up these clamps and then bump this back up to 5 and see how long it runs. But you want to get it to a point where this is not dropping at all on your gauge. If it's dropping on your gauge really quick, you're going to have a really fast leak out the side, and it's going to pour brake fluid on this car anywhere at the lowest point. So back in the back, since this reservoir is tilted, it's going to be pouring fluid out of the back, because this is literally sending fluid through this hose and into the master cylinder, topping it off. It's another thing, when you go to remove it, they can kind of make a mess. So installation and removal are always kind of a pain in the fortunately, this one, I don't know what I want to do. So I'm going to try and get it to where it doesn't leak, and then we'll resume. I've already got all the wheels off and everything, so I want to go ahead and bleed. So kind of a bad example to show you on, because this one's kind of a pain. All right, I went ahead and I'm going for it since I'm already up in the air. I've already taken my wheels off, and they're a pain. I got to protect them. Anyway. So what you want to do is dump the remaining fluid from your bottle into here, and you can see I don't really have a whole lot. I'm probably going to add some, but I'm going ahead and pumped it up. I'm going to go up to about 5 psi, and then go ahead and I'm going to look around, just make sure that it's not pouring brake fluid over the back there, and it's not. I don't see any drips of it, in fact, so I'm good. So that's your key thing, and then you're going to want to go to your bleeders. So you got to keep the master cylinder full. So I can see my line. You don't really want to shake this puppy, but you can see the line right there. It's right below where it says AZ there. You can kind of see the change in the way the light is kind of hitting there. You can kind of see a dark spot. There we go. See the dark spot? That's the fluid level there. So we want to make sure the fluid level stays in there. With this whole contraption going on, I can't shake it, but I would normally take the master and give it a little wiggle. With the cap style, you can give it a wiggle, you can do whatever. So, not this style, with what we got going on. So I'm going to go to the furthest bleeder, open it up, and I'm going to show you how easy this is once you get that whole pain in the neck straightened out. All right, I'm at the furthest bleeder port. And you've got this hooked up over the top of it, my bleeder. This is a bleed adapter to hook over to the bleeder port. So the bleeder port, I haven't started bleeding yet, but it just looks like that. So you take this little guy and you just push it on. I've already got it broken free. And then you want to take your line. I usually like to bring my line up on another area, you'd do it over the shock or whatever. Here we got enough. So, and then for this style, this has got like a little thing where you can stop the fluid flow. You gotta make sure that's open. So then I've got an empty can here that the fluid came in. So all I'm gonna do is come back here and break this free. And as soon as I break it free, you're gonna watch the fluid come up. There it goes. See it taking off? So I've got a bunch of nastiness in that fluid. We're going to keep bleeding until it's pretty clean. You'll see how clean this puppy gets. I've got a whole nother bottle of brake fluid. I'm going to get this as clean as I can. So you'll see the difference in fluid color. It's dramatic. So it'll start clearing up pretty quick here. Go ahead and open the bleeder just a little more. Get the fluid flowing a little faster. Unfortunately, I've got low pressure on that, but you can see how fast it's coming out. Normally I'd have a really good, quite a bit coming out, quite a bit more than that, because I would have 20 psi or so on there, usually. That's what I like to go with. Good grief, this fluid's nasty. I don't remember the last time I bled this thing. I've had this truck for 20 something years now. So yeah, this is really the part now that you just sit here. So if I had more, I really ought to buy some more of this stuff. You can bleed. A lot of other cars' manuals will tell you to bleed both axles at once. You can see the fluid starting to clear up a little bit. It's nowhere near as dirty as it was, but you can run, if you have enough pressure out of that thing, you can bleed all 4 at once. I bled 2 at once, and it goes fast. But we can bleed quite a bit. This is quite a bit of fluid's already come out through here. But you can see how much clearer it is. We'll give it a few more minutes, and it'll be like crystal clear. So like you won't even be able to really tell. All right, take you back here and show you. So this is the fluid coming out of there now. I mean, it's difficult to tell where it ends and begins. I mean, you can tell in the video, but there's no color to it at all anymore. It's pretty much crystal clear. Got a little bit of amber color to it, but you're gonna have some of that. So this is the furthest from the master cylinder. So I'm gonna use a little more out of this one than I would the others. I kind of shake the bottle and feel it's somewhere in this range down here, about 1/4 of the bottle. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this one off and move on to the next ones. All right, so I just turned it off. All I did was take a little wrench. So this is an 8mm. Take the wrench, go back there and turn the bleeder till it stops. And then, so with this kind of setup, what I like to do is I like to kind of twist it. So I twist it so that everything runs down. Trying to get as much of it out of the hose as possible. You can see the air is having to move its way in. So if you have the style that's a vacuum bleeder, and I could use that vacuum thing, I just don't. If you have a vacuum bleeder, you can hook it up to this and you won't make a mess. That's the nice thing. But I'm gonna show you how to do it without a vacuum bleeder to not make a mess or minimize your mess. So all the fluid has now moved its way down into the little twist here. So I'm actually gonna take this little thing, and that pinches the hose. And then as long as I keep this, when I take this off, as long as I keep this above, it's not going to drip on anything. So nothing really dripped out at all. I didn't make any mess. And now I can actually take this, and if I open this back up, I'll just take this and run it back down into the bottle, and then pick up my bottle and go to the next wheel. So this side has a 10 millimeter for whatever reason. And now this one's on the caliper, so it's in a little bit different placement. All right, so this one is right there. So on this one, I want to do it to where my hose is up. So you want to do it to where your hose comes up. This leaves the fluid coming up, and then you can see bubbles because it'll trap the bubbles up here a little better. Just makes bleeding a lot easier. So, because that's the other point of bleeding your brake fluid, is you want to get, whoa, so you don't pull your hose out of the bucket or you will make a mess like I just did. If you're wondering why I have all these marks of tape, I use them to kind of guide my vehicle in because we have kind of tight quarters here. So I kind of put that on the floor to mark, to indicate where my truck is. And kind of get it in the same spot every time. It makes it nice. So, and these I actually put the blocks of wood to help jack it up. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and break this free. All right. So I'll come in here with the wrench. And I've already broke it free, so this will be easier. Sometimes your bleeders too can have dirt in them. I had caps on mine, and that's the point of the caps, to keep dirt from getting in them. So you want to put your dust cap back on when you're done. You can see some fluid coming. I'm gonna have to kind of twist this one just a little more, and then twist my bleeder hose. There we go. Now it's flowing. Look at how filthy that stuff is. So we're gonna go ahead and let that bleed. And I went ahead and skipped. You can go furthest and then work your way back. That's technically the way to do it, but it's okay. That's pretty nasty. All right, so our fluid's getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And when I'm done, I'm gonna go back and do a traditional bleed. Starting my way from the back to the front, so not really worried about which order I do them in right now. Kind of want to be more worried about that on the very end. And for something like this, it doesn't matter. It's funny, I've worked on some other cars and their bleed order is all over the place. The whole traditional method is just kind of just that, traditional. All right, so my fluid's getting cleaner. It's not quite where I want it. Not as clean as we got the back one. So we'll give it a little more time. I was wiping up some of the mess. Unfortunately, this one's dripping a little bit. Let me see how well you can see that. You can kind of see it running down from the bleeder. Running down from the bleeder and running down the caliper and then dripping. So I'm gonna have to make sure I rinse it off with some alcohol. So that's why I've got the bottle out here. Give it a few more minutes to kind of get a little bit cleaner fluid, and then we'll wrap it up. I didn't show taking it off because I ended up having to run inside and eat dinner and yada yada yada, but it really didn't make as much of a mess as I thought it was gonna be. I stuffed some rags behind it. The last bottle of fluid I got had darker fluid. All right, I don't know if it's been sitting there for a while or what. Kind of love that. Anyway, all in all, I'm not a huge fan of this cap setup. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it all the way off, but I don't even think it really dribbled much out at all when I popped this cap off. Usually the other caps, you get a little bit of a mess. So Anyway, I'm gonna wipe it up and I'll show you that little, how it wears an impression in the rubber, because I did have to go eat dinner and everything, so I left it on there. Alright, and I just took my fluid extractor and extracted it down to where I can see it out the window on the side at the very top. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned it up. I sprayed isopropyl alcohol while keeping my finger on this until it started coming out of this hole, and then just kind of alternated and then opened it up, and now I've just got alcohol coming out. So you can see, I'll show you that impression. You can see the impression that it left on the seal. This is all alcohol, by the way. So over time you'll have a bunch of those, and eventually the rubber will wear down and then it won't seal up. So I mean, honestly, the quality of this, I'm not very pleased, to be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. I might keep it just for the other caps because they just go right on, but this one is pretty useless. I really needed another clamp, so, but all in all, it got the job done. It just wasn't pretty and it wasn't easy. It didn't make it how it should have made it. If I was first time using a bleeder, I would have been like, why did I hassle with this? But, or a pressure bleeder rather. But anyway, thanks for watching.